The motorcycle we're talking about today is a true symbol of Italian motorcycling excellence. Its name is Monster. A true icon, a motorcycle that split the history of motorcycling into a before and after, literally inventing the segment of modern sport, naked bikes. It was 1992 when, at the Cologne Motor Show, the Monster appeared for the first time at the Ducati stand. Everything you need, nothing more, with an unmistakable design. The recipe was, and still is, as simple as it is effective. Pair a sporty engine, perfect for the road, with a chassis derived from superbikes, all wrapped in a unique style and personality. Like few other icons in the world of cars and motorcycles, the Monster's Fly line was born in 1993 and is still instantly recognizable today. Over more than 30 years, the Monster has constantly evolved. Each generation has managed to preserve the original soul, while at the same time embracing the most modern technologies. It has always remained a cornerstone of the Ducati lineup, literally setting entire generations of motorcyclists in motion and creating a true community, the Monsteristi. Today, just as over 30 years ago, the Monster continues to embody the essence of Ducati. And now it's time to delve into that story, which has become legend, to tell you about the 5th generation of this icon.
So, more than 30 years of history. We can safely say that we're talking about a piece of history. In this Ducati world premiere, I'll take you through the key departments where the new Monster was born, and we'll talk with the people who created it. Let's start with a fundamental department, the Ducati Style Center. Mirko, here we are. Tell me about your Monster.
Of course, seeing it finished is exciting, especially because it's the lightest and most technologically advanced Monster ever. Here, we tried to find the right balance between a nod to the past and an extreme sense of modernity.
Exactly, because the Monster has always been an essential motorcycle, defined by some iconic elements like the tank, the seat, the headlight. So let's get into the details of this new generation.
The tank is the most important element of this bike. We tried to maintain the slimness of the current Monster, but at the same time to give it back that muscularity that's typical of the Monster. There's a distinctive element at the front, these air intakes, which, besides referencing the 2nd generation, allow us to have a very wide stance. If with the tank we tried to reference, thank you, those that are the legends of the past. With the headlight, we aimed for extreme modernity. Full LED headlight, glossy black, double C-shaped DRL like on Ducatis, and there's a nod to the Panigale Vive 4 with the brake in the DRL.
Okay, full LED, DRL, dynamic turn signals, all very interesting, but there's another element that I think is really worth talking about on the more lateral part.
The side panels are these, which we introduced with this generation to dissipate the hot air coming from the radiator. And this texture allows us to have a more tactile connection with the bike, to basically feel it more.
Okay, but I wanted to talk about these little numbers you've written here.
The Easter egg is the coordinates of Borgo Panigale, so if you enter them into the navigation system, they basically take you to where the bike was born. It brings you home, exactly. Continuing along the tail, we find the iconic single seat supported by super lightweight composite subframes that connect to a traditional subframe. Here too, it's a nod to the past. You see Ducati red on the red version, and on the S-Spread white version, it's black.
Okay, exactly. So we have two colors, red and white, and then we also have two versions. Here we have the Plus with the seat cover and the windscreen.
Exactly. There's a whole range of accessories developed specifically for this bike, like the sport seat, the exhaust, developed directly with Termignoni, the belly pan, and components in carbon or solid aluminum.
On top of all that, Mirko, you didn't just work on the design of the new Monster, but you also created the new logo.
Yes, we created a logo dedicated to the bike that is directly inspired by the iconic shapes of the 1993 Observatory, which form an M, the M of Monster. In 1993, the Monster invented the essential. Today, we are reinventing it in a contemporary way because some things never change. They keep evolving, just like legends do.
Obviously, Monster isn't just about style, because one of the most important new features is the engine. Now let's discover how the new V2 is made. Andrea, why did you choose this engine for the new Monster?
Well, it's always been that way. The V2 load-bearing engine is an element of compactness and an expression of sportiness because being part of the bike's frame, it allows us to minimize and simplify all those components that make up the structure of the bike. So it goes without saying that fewer components mean less weight, which means better performance. Dynamic performance of the vehicle. Furthermore, the engine, with its central role, increases the torsional rigidity of the bike, thus allowing for more precise and stable handling, especially in corners. So, with a focus on reducing and optimizing weight, we designed and built an engine that is visibly smaller, more compact and lighter than its predecessor, while maintaining an architecture that aimed to hide all those elements that used to be clearly visible. For example, the pipes and hoses of the cooling system used to be very visible on the left side of the bike. Now they have been hidden within the V, maintaining the philosophy of the load-bearing V2 engine as it was in the Monster with the Testastretta engine. We managed to optimize and refine the package, mounting the engine on a bike rotated backward by 20 degrees to optimally balance the weight with a sophisticated technological content.
And also, thanks to the new engine, we managed to achieve a weight of 175 kilograms in running order without fuel, which is a benchmark for the segment to which the Monster belongs. A major innovation of this engine is the variable timing, which allows for improved performance across the entire operating range.
Yes, exactly. The system works by continuously adjusting the timing of the intake valve opening so as to always provide the best possible power delivery. That is, high power at high revs, torque at mid-range, with smooth power delivery in regular combustion that adapts perfectly to any usage condition. Whether you're riding at low speeds in a high gear, maybe in an urban setting, or when you want to head to the hills and have some fun with a sportier ride. The result of all this is an engine that is easy to handle and perfectly suited to anyone who wants to use it, whether they're a beginner or even an experienced rider who wants to get the most performance out of it. In short, the new Monster is the ideal bike to accompany anyone on their journey of growth in the saddle.
I'd say that at this point, it's time to talk numbers. What is the V2 engine capable of?
The new V2 delivers 111 horsepower and 91 Newton meters of torque, with a broad and usable power curve throughout its entire range. Already at 3,000 RPM, 70% of the torque is available, and between 4,000 and 10,000 RPM, it stays above 80%. We have developed 4 different power modes, high, medium, city, and low, which are distinguished by 2 different base calibrations. For each of them, a dedicated throttle map or throttle response has been developed.
And then we also have the Ducati Quickshift 2.0.
Of course. This technology debuts for the first time on the Monster and is adapted from previous applications, starting with the Panigale 5.4. The system works thanks to a rotary sensor mounted directly on the shift drum, combined with a direct connection between the pedal and the transmission, providing a more precise and faster shifting feel to enhance the riding experience. And in case there is a need for more intense and frequent use of the clutch, we have reduced the effort at the lever by 15%.
You're right, you can feel the difference. One last very important topic. Let's talk about maintenance.
With this new V2, we've taken another step forward, extending the valve clearance check interval to 45,000 kilometers and keeping the oil change at every 2 years or 15,000 kilometers, a true benchmark for the category.
What better way to talk about the dynamic behavior of a motorcycle than by sharing your own feelings while riding it? Let's talk about the bike, a bike that has been renewed in every aspect, and I swear it only took me a few meters to realize it. So what kind of work was done?
The development of the new Monster was truly exciting because what really emerged was the dual soul of this bike. On one hand, there's its urban spirit, thanks to an engine that's so smooth and gentle at low speeds, and a lightness that's astonishing, and a steering angle that helps us handle the bike in city riding. On the other hand, the Monster, so its sporty soul, thanks to a chassis worthy of a true supersport, in fact inherits from the monocoque frame and Ducati's mid-size supersport bikes, the electronics package, and this lightness that ensures truly benchmark-level dynamics.
Ale, let's get into the details of the bike and start with the weight, because one of the things that impressed me most is how light this bike is.
As we know, weight is a crucial factor in a vehicle's dynamics. And just like with our Superleggera, Ducati's technological flagship, whose motto is Fortitudo Mea in Levitate, here too lightness is the strength of the new Monster, because it provides great agility in handling while riding. And above all, it ensures in its sporty spirit benchmark deceleration and, of course, acceleration as well.
Exactly, Ale. In fact, with this new generation, we managed to save an additional 4 kilograms, right?
We started from an already lightweight vehicle, so it was a real challenge. Managing to reach 175 kilograms in running order without fuel is a benchmark value for the category.
As for the chassis, we have Showa suspension with adjustable preload at the rear.
We worked on the suspension setup to ensure excellent absorption of bumps, providing comfort for the rider during everyday road use, as well as precision and control in handling. For example, when riding sportily on a mountain pass.
As for the braking system, at the front, we have two 320mm discs with Brembo radial mount calipers and a radial master cylinder, while at the rear, there's a 245mm disc.
The braking system provides great exuberance for the new Monster. We worked on the friction material of the front brake pads to reduce the initial bite, so the first response, and to make this bike very manageable and easy to modulate even for beginners. However, in all this, we haven't lost any efficiency. And with the new Monster, you get benchmark level deceleration.
On all our bikes, we equip top-level components from leading brands, such as the Pirelli Diablo Rosso 4 on this new Monster.
Pirelli Diablo Rosso 4 are benchmark tires for sporty road use precisely because of the great steering precision they provide to the bike. The contact patch and grip are there from the very first corners, thanks to a reduced warm-up time. Additionally, and this is not a given, is the wet weather performance, which is truly effective for a tire with a sporty pedigree.
Ale, one thing I really liked is how easy it is to get your knee down and the sense of safety that comes with it.
In fact, the seat height has been reduced to 815 millimeters. Additionally, we've worked on all the ergonomic profiles in the seating area and reduced the in-seat march. All of this benefits the ability to put your feet on the ground and improves low-speed maneuverability of the bike. If all that wasn't enough, we've also developed a suspension lowering kit as well as a seat that's 20 millimeters lower, which brings the height to a seat height of 775 millimeters.
Let's get back to talking about one of the fundamental elements of this bike, the engine. It doesn't just contribute to the lightness, but to the entire riding experience, right?
Exactly, Chiara. The new V2 is an exceptional engine because it ensures great smoothness at low revs and that typical Monster punch. Already from 3 to 4,000 RPM. This means you don't have to reach astronomical speeds to feel the power and have fun on the road. We have 4 power modes paired with different riding modes that allow the rider to tailor the bike to themselves, to the power delivery of this engine, depending on their own needs and the riding situation. This truly exceptional engine allows you to go through your entire motorcycling career, from when you're a beginner to when you're an expert rider, like in my case.
Ale, you mentioned the power modes and riding modes, but we actually have a truly refined package of electronic controls.
Yes, in fact, we have a whole package available. Electronics derived from racing like Ducati traction control, wheelie control, and electronic engine braking.
To recap, we have 4 riding modes, 4 power modes, and a truly refined electronic package. On the new Monster, we also find the new 5-inch color TFT display with day and night modes and 2 info modes. Then we have the new Ducati QuickShift 2.0, which we mentioned earlier, and finally, available as accessories, we have cruise control, the Ducati multimedia system for phone and music, and the turn-by-turn navigation software.
In fact, on this new Monster, we have everything you need and even a little more.